Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's RF Khan here, welcoming you back to Islam Podcast, week number 6. And today we have as our co-hosts Mr. Imad Hussain. Imad, assalamu alaikum.
Assalam, how are you? Good to have you back.
Good. No, thank you. Good to be back. I couldn't be there last week, but you admirably filled in the spot for me, so I thank you for that. And unfortunately, today we don't have our good friends Bakshi and Maju, so it'll just have to be the two of us. And of course, we have a special guest, none other than the GM of Team Ihsan, Mr. Daoud Kai-Omber, C-Omber, or is it Dave? How do you pronounce your name, sir?
Is that spelling right? I don't know if that spelling is right.
It's in all caps. Assalamu alaikum, bro. How you doing?
Alhamdulillah. Thanks for having me.
Yes, the new and upgraded Daoud 2.0 with the audio that leaves us all in the dust.
Listen, man. Listen, this podcast, I'm telling you, we say something about some people, some teams, they fly off. Even the guests. He had a crappy headset last time, bro. Come on. What happened there? But this time, mashallah, he has a sweet, crisp audio. He stole it right from his PS4 Call of Duty.
That's it, just the process.
All right, who we got in the chat here? We got Mr.
Riz.
All-Star Driving School Woodbridge. Mr. Riz himself. Assalamu alaikum, brother. And Habibi already congratulating you on your mic, so that's good. All right, we got some stuff to cover, boys. So I'm gonna jump into it, and of course, we'll cover what we need to. Let's kill the audio a little bit here. All right, so bring up the deck here. So the first thing we're going to do this week is we'll cover the games from last week. Here, let's start with this. So last week, the first game of the night was Ikhlas versus Iman, and this ended in a 3-3 tie. I wasn't there for the first part of this game. Who caught it?
Yeah, I had a good view of this game, and wow, who would have expected this result from this game? Iman was a team that was struggling winless going into this, and Ikhlas was not a perfect record, but I mean they had a pretty good record, and they were like firing all cylinders. And Iman comes out with a solid 3-3 tie out of this, and I think they've got to be happy with that, and Ikhlas has got to be upset about it. Coming into this, they probably thought that this was going to be a cakewalk, but Iman really made it difficult for them. They had Asim Sheikh, who joined them through the waiver wire, and he made a solid impact, and just as expected, right? I mean, that's no surprise. He was all over. He's a defenseman, but he just has such an impact on the game that I think really having him there really had. I mean, he was the X factor here.
Yeah. Dal, did you happen to catch this game?
No, sadly I did not, because I had the late game and didn't feel like coming in for the first one.
Can't
I
blame
know
you.
I'm slacking this week.
But you know what? Because I knew that you hadn't seen this game, check this out. We actually have a video of one of the goals just for you, my friend. Let's see if we can play this full screen here. Yeah, let's see. All right, I think this was, I don't know which goal this was. It was off the face-off, goes to the point. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's just a pretty goal. They tried to dump it out, but they couldn't, and it stayed in. You can't do that against a team like that, right? With that kind of passing and shot.
Yeah, they did really well. And Bilal Muhyiddin, he had a goal and assist, mashallah, really well. Same with Usman Batar. He came back. This is his first game back after being away for a few weeks on vacation. Notable here is Saku Coker. He was there, but unable to play due to injury. So, losing your second line center, maybe that has a little bit of an impact, and shuffling the lines, both with Usman back and Saku not there. So, yeah.
What happened? Softball?
Probably. But hopefully this is just a turning point for Iman. I'm really hopeful of that, and the guys should really be able to use this as a launching pad.
Hey man, they've been struggling, but they managed to get a point out of this. So this is I mean, not good for us suburb wise, but team wise, but good for them for putting one into the standings. The second game of the night was Yakin versus Haya, and this game on paper also looked really promising because you have Yakin with their super high powered GM trio and Haya who are known to be defensively sound. But looking at the score 4-2, at least on paper, it didn't look like that was the case. At least not for Haya's defensive game.
Yeah, you know what? Look, I saw the beginning of this game before I went to go replay the game after, so I saw the first half very closely. Yakin was all over Haya in the first half. It was just like they weren't even in the same league. I don't know whether Haya was not prepared for it or what was going on, but the guys were just running circles around him in their own zone. And every once in a while, they'd get the ball. Haya would get the ball up, but Yakin would just bring it back in. And there's really no momentum on Haya's side. Thankfully, they were able to get some goals later on and make it a little bit closer. But this in the end, this was Yakin's game to lose, and they definitely took advantage of them early on and came out with the win.
I mean, Yakin was flying out there as usual, right? Their GM trio is just so difficult to handle. But still, I found Hayat, they held their own. I mean, Hamoudi had a really good game too. But I don't know. Daud, what do you think? What does a team have to do to make a dent in Yakin? Because they're like 5-0.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's hard to say because the first game of the season we played them, they look like obviously first game everyone's getting used to each other. However, already they have chemistry going in,
True.
but they're starting to get some momentum with their team. Everybody knows each other well, and it's I don't know. They're just like steamrolling through everyone. It's pretty hard to stop. So
Yeah.
the thing
No,
that
I
I
think
usually sorry.
no,
The
please
thing
go ahead. No, go ahead.
the thing I usually a lot of guys like to look at teams who make a lot of passing plays, and usually you don't find that with like bigger guys. They're like a little bit smaller, so the first thing you have in mind is okay, put the body on them, wear them down. But these
Yeah.
guys, mashallah, they're so good. They just know body position, everything, where to be, where not to be, the right time, the right place. So
Yeah.
it's very difficult to even apply that with them.
You make a great point about the fact of GM chemistry, right? There's a lot of teams like them that come in with pre-built chemistry, right? And like you said, they start right off the bat on fire, right? And there's other teams who have really good players as GMs, but they haven't played, or maybe two of the GMs have played and one hasn't. So it takes a little bit time to click. So yeah, that's a huge advantage they have.
Yeah.
And just to call out here too, so Sufyan Sheikh for Haya had 2 goals, and they're 2 very late goals. So I mean, he not just him, but Haya did not give up in this game, right? They went down, but they still fought back and tried to come back. I believe they're down 3-0. They made it close to 3-2, and then Yakin scored an empty netter. So it ended up being much closer than initially thought. Now, there's something interesting here that if people who didn't watch the game, what happened is Haya actually scored a goal right off a face-off. So they scored their, I believe, and forgive me if I get this wrong, but as I recall it, Haya scored a goal. There was another face-off at center ice. And while they're taking the face-off, Maju, the goalie for Yakin, was not ready. And his center took the draw without checking on Maju. So what ended up happening is Haya got possession, and they shot the ball, and they scored. And Maju was almost facing the other way, right? His back to center ice. It counted because in the end,
have counted. Yeah,
it counted because his center was ready to go, and Maju had gotten into a ready position, and then when he saw that they weren't ready at center ice, he kind of turned around to get another drink of water or something.
Yeah,
dropped the ball and it went. So you can't really fault anyone, the refs or Haya for that. And you know what? They took advantage. They saw an opportunity, they took advantage of it, and they scored a goal.
Well, I blame Maju for being dehydrated. Like, why do you need to drink, Maju? You should just be there.
It's not like he's facing a lot of shots or anything.
Exactly. You face like 3 shots a game, bro. What do you need water for?
Yeah, let's take it easy on him. He's a regular panelist here. We don't want to lose him.
He's chatting out here, so I don't know what. I guess he called in sick to the podcast today. What are you gonna do?
He didn't want to face
One
the
of,
music.
one of those nights. All right. Third game of the night was Takwa versus Suber. Suber is my team and your team, Ahmad. We've been struggling the last little while, but this game also same thing happened. We were down 2-0 within the first couple of minutes. In fact, first two shots it was 2-0. But somehow we climbed back and we ended up finishing the game 2-2.
Yeah, Dawood, I don't know if you want to give your perspective just so that we get someone from the outside. I don't know if you had a chance to see this.
Yeah, I apologize. I was very late last week.
He pulled in a bus.
He was playing COD. Okay, so, yeah, RF, I totally agree with you, but I think this is also an opportunity for us to grow as a team. Early on in the season, we had a lot of absences from key guys, and we were just kind of moving pieces around. Where last week we had a fair number of the guys show up, and I think we actually used it as an opportunity to utilize everyone up to their skill set, and that's why we were. I wouldn't say we were 100% successful because we still only tied. We didn't get the W. But in our eyes, we still came back from a 2-0. We had a very poor start yet again, but we came back from a 2-0 hole and held the tie. And we very well could have won the game too, right? It could have gone either way, to be fair to Takwa as well. But I only see this as a positive step forward for Suber to move into the win column, inshallah, this week. Going up against Yakin, but we'll get into that later. Tall task. But then at the same time for Takwa, this is something that they let slip away. And it comes down to is, okay, well, what is their depth like? And what are they going to do about this, particularly their defensive depth? If you think about their team, Omar Dean is probably their only natural defenseman on the roster. And then you have other guys who drop back, whether it's Omar Hussein, very talented guy, mashallah, but he's great at defense, but he's a forward, right? And you want him to be at forward to be able to utilize his skill set to the max. And then you have other guys who drop back and forth, but I think maybe that is their Achilles heel right now, is they really need to address their defense. And as we reach the halfway point of the season this week, and then get closer to the trade deadline, of course, after the long weekend, it's interesting to see how they do that. But Suber should be happy with the outcome, how they fought back. Takwa should be upset with how they let the lead slip away and ended up with the tie.
Yeah. This game was also a game of misses on both ends, because Takwa had so many, 2-on-1s and partial breaks, and same thing for our team, Suber. I know myself, I had a couple of opportunities to get the lead. I think there was one sequence where you did everything but score, right? And that seems to be the theme with Suber this year. Like, we get a lot of chances. We're buzzing, especially when we have, guys like Mohamed Casantini and Sani and Maz on the floor. Those guys are hard to contain, but we just can't seem to finish it. So maybe that's what we need to do here.
Take those shots.
Yeah. We have Abdullah here with a valid comment. Arif, tell us where Arif Hanslow is. The brothers on the team, but I think there's quite a few people who are also playing in some other leagues, and sometimes they, I guess they're having success there and they're in the playoffs. But inshallah, he'll be joining us soon.
Sure.
All right, next one, final game of the night. David, did you see this game?
By the score, it doesn't look like he watched the game. I mean, he probably wasn't there.
Well, all the stars are blue and red only has 1 point. So maybe Dawood, you weren't there. What happened, bro?
Oh, it was a tough game. I mean, we were missing a few guys, but I mean, that's.
Well, hold on. How many guys was Rida missing?
They had the right guys.
No, they were missing Isawi.
Okay.
Whoa,
minus
they
Isawi.
had the right guys and you didn't.
Minus
right?
Isawi.
We're going to tell your other 12 guys that showed up that they weren't the right guys.
So your other guys are not the right guys, eh? Isan, if you need to change, call us.
No, it was I don't know. It was a tough game, I don't know what it is about the Malton guys. Maybe they're like a little bit of kryptonite for me, but their offense is a little unpredictable. It's hard to defend sometimes. There's a lot of it kind of reminds me of the T-Part guys a little, but it's a little less it's a little unorthodox, if that makes sense. I felt like this game, though, to be honest, even though we were missing Zaki and we were missing Ibrahim Hindi,
Yeah.
uh, I feel like we were. I don't feel the score really depicts how the game went too much.
Hmm.
I actually was talking to the guys in the locker room after the game, and I referred it back to the game we played you guys, RF.
Yeah.
Um, that we were kind of all over you, like just how you guys were very dominant over us in many plays, and then
Hmm.
there would be one turnover and we'd score on it, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
feel that was exactly the case with this game, and obviously they have the right guys to finish those situations, right? Like Yusuf
Yeah.
and Mandra Kazi. So
Yeah. Yusuf also had a really nice one timer on the power play, right? You give
yeah,
a team like that a lot of chances on the power play, it's going to be very hard to keep them off the score sheet.
yeah, it's very true.
No, but I think let me ask you, how's Zaki been playing for you guys? I know he was highly touted in the draft. I don't think we've seen much of him, at least I haven't. Um, One, has he been showing up? And two, has he acclimatized to this league and the players?
He's showed up, if I'm not mistaken, to 2 games so far. I
Hmm.
know the first
Hmm.
2 weeks, he had some injury, few stitches on his
Oh,
hand or
yeah,
something.
I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess technically he only missed 1 game other than that.
Okay.
But I guess to go with those 2 games that he did play with us, like
Yeah.
he fits in like perfectly with, especially with Muhib's play style.
Yeah, they're
Muhib,
friends too, I think, right?
yeah, yeah. So Muhib, I didn't know anything about him. This was just completely Muhib's decision, and I trusted him.
Yeah.
And yeah, alhamdulillah, I think it worked out very well. He's very
Good.
good,
Good.
like ball IQ. He has very good passing. He's a
Yeah. Yeah.
playmaker.
Yeah.
He finishes too. Like I think he had 1 or 2 goals in the games that we played. So yeah, alhamdulillah,
Okay.
nothing but good to
Cool.
say
Cool.
about him. Yeah, he's definitely
Well, he's
lived
on the
up
right
to it.
team. It's the friends and family team called Esan.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All
So
right. Speaking of friends and family, well, this friend here, this is a new section we're doing today. I mean, for those who've been following us for the last few weeks, we've been trying to do spotlights on various type of players. Today's theme is what is it, Imad? It's about the assist leaders for each team.
Yeah, guys who maybe aren't shoot first kind of guys, or maybe look for the open guy before they do anything else, and are leading each of their teams and respective teams in scoring or in assists. Sorry.
Hmm.
So we have here first we have Animan, and I believe we spoke about Bilal last week or the week before,
Yeah.
who has 6 assists. He's leading Iman right now, and as we talked about, um, you know, Iman came off a very good game last week, and
Hmm.
Bilal had actually a goal and an assist. And the speed this guy has is just he's probably one of the faster guys in the league right now.
Yeah.
Compared to some of the others, I don't, off the top of my head, maybe think Yusuf Inger is pretty fast, but not many other guys I can compare it to his speed off the top of
Yeah.
my
I
head.
would say Rayan and Bilal are probably the speediest guys out there. In the chat, if you think of anybody else who's as fast or more, let us know. But they're hard to contain, man. They're really zippy.
Yeah, so you got to keep your eye on him and know where he is, because he also has good hockey IQ, so and a good skill set. It's not just speed that works for him. So someone to definitely be mindful of on the floor. And this
Yeah.
wasn't meant to be a scouting report on him, but maybe it is a little bit.
Hey man, they have so many assists. All these guys we're gonna name. Maybe it's a good thing to do a scouting report on them if you want to contain them. And plus, it's great to see young brothers like this. They're also stepping up into leadership roles and GM roles.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that Austin Matthews mustache though, but we'll let that pass this week.
Well, I think the best Austin Matthews mustache is Ahmed Khalid.
I don't know if it's dirtiest, but yeah.
All right. Speaking of mustaches to beards and old grumpy men, this is definitely not a grumpy man because he's one of the nicest brothers you'll meet. It's Sufyan Sheikh from Team Haya. Now, normally Sufyan is known for his incredible dangles and just power forward type plays, but we don't speak a lot about his really really good playmaking abilities. But clearly his stats show that.
Yeah, he's leading his team in 6 assists. And, I wonder if it has anything to do this season with playing with both Hamoudi and Asupika on his line. both guys who can score, and maybe his role is just adjusting a bit. What do you think, though?
Yeah, Sufyan, he's a great player. I mean, I hate playing against him because it's pretty tough to defend. He actually he does one thing very well that I love it when guys do it when I'm playing with them. Maybe if it's like an odd man rush, he kind of lets defense collapse in and he'll take a step back, and his whatever forward pairing knows to take that step back as well. I don't know. It catches you off guard sometimes. He's got me a few times with that. So anyway, yeah, nothing but good. Yeah, he's very good IQ. Everything, he knows where guys are at all times on the floor. He knows how to use his points as well. That's something I
Yep.
think is very important for a forward, right? To use your defense and not just forget about them. They can actually help out a lot. So
Well,
yeah.
and like Zayd is saying, he isn't very nice to goalies, though. That is true.
He's relentless.
One good. He's relentless,
Yeah.
and even after the play, he'll go through. But that's also a bit of a double-edged sword because of the way he plays, right? Like all out, full throttle. He's also been prone to injuries, unfortunately, and alhamdulillah, he's recovering. And I think that's another reason he's playing better this year than last year. Is some of those major injuries he's had, I think it's healed a bit more. So inshallah, we wish him continued recovery, and may Allah protect him and everybody else from any further injuries, because we need to see these star players at their full potential. All right. Speaking of potential, here's a superstar himself, Mr. Mohib Shah, although he's wearing the previous year's jersey. But Daoud, he's on your team this year. What's going on with this guy?
Oh, he's doing good. I think, to be honest, I think he had a mashallah, a very good first season in the league, but he's seeing now that everybody picked up on him and he maybe doesn't have as much support as last season. So, but he's taken a big step forward and like keep progressing, even though that everybody's onto him now. Everybody knows what he's about. But yeah, all around, obviously, everybody knows Mohib, I think, by now. Great passer, scorer, great guy in the locker room. He's always the guy, and this is one thing that I obviously didn't see from him in the locker room, right? He's always the guy that's like getting fired up, getting his teammates fired up. When whoever's like kind of down, he's always keeping that spirit, especially late game, maybe especially like last game, we were down a few goals. I usually try. I'm not the best, as a lot of guys know me. Like, I'm not very good at getting everybody all fired up. I'm more like a quick talker.
That's why you need Riz on your team always.
Yeah, Riz is my main guy for that. Yeah, I let him go through this year though. I'm gonna keep reminding him that. I was about to pick him up, but I let him go through.
You can make trades in this league, eh, David?
Yeah, but I'll let him play with his family this year. It's okay.
His family? You mean his whole clan and progeny?
So Mohib is leading Isan with 7 assists, so another very high number.
Yeah. Next one, we go from the young stars to the old stars. Although he's not that old, but Ali Wadi here. When you watch someone play ball hockey, you can't help but marvel at just his cool, collected mannerism with the ball. Just goes behind the net, comes out, little head fake, and he's gone. And then before you know it, finds an open guy for a goal. So this guy's a legend in my books.
Well, first off, like, he looks super buff in this picture, so it's very misleading.
Do you realize how fit he got over the last couple of years? I saw him.
Oh yeah,
Wonderland,
he's very fit. But like, he looks super buff in this. Like, it looks like he tucked in his shirt. It was like modeled for this picture. But
are you jelly, Himad?
No. But no, Arif, I agree with everything you said. He's like very graceful out there, and he has bursts of speed. Can just kind of weave through in and out of guys, and he has this very long stride as well that I noticed. So that allows him to get through, and of course, it opens up space for him for other guys on his team, and that probably explains why he gets so many assists. So he's leading a class right now with 8 assists, and that is another team with a lot of firepower. So no surprise there.
Graceful as a gazelle. Daoud, have you played with Ali Wadi before?
Yeah,
You on the
we've
same
played
team?
together. Yeah, we've played together. It was last year in the summer, tier
Yeah.
3. We played together with some of the
Okay.
other Greenbirds guys as well, and
Yeah.
that was really nice. Like playing with him, like you obviously get to see playing against him, his
Yeah.
IQ of like you know where guys are and everything, and where to pass the ball, where not to pass the ball, where to be in the right
Yeah.
time and everything. But when you're playing with him, it's just like, oh, it just feels so nice sometimes. You're like, oh, sometimes you're like, I wish a guy would pass me the ball in this scenario. And
Yeah.
Ali's like that guy that'll pass you the ball in that
Yeah.
exact
Yeah.
scenario. So
Well,
yeah,
I wouldn't know. I only played 2 games with Ali, and then he traded me. I'm not bitter at all. It's all good. But I totally see that. Even the couple of games I played with him, he was always very, very complimentary, and he gave good advice to
yeah,
players, right? Not the usual, just take the shot or dump it in. He actually
yeah,
gave very constructive, poignant tips for you to improve your game. So I appreciate that about him.
yeah.
All right, next we have Mr. Abu Manjra himself. Um, yeah, I mean, this guy is also a really good playmaker, and it shows on the stats. How much does he have this year? 8 assists already in 5 games. Amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, so he's on Rilla this season, and one of the GMs, and I think he's like more of a pass first guy for the most part. And obviously, probably most of the guys are on this list, maybe except for Mohib. But he just finds the guys that he has, and he also has. You know what's really common with all these guys? They have a lot of speed,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and yeah, they're just able to draw guys to him, and then they open up space for the other guys, and then just pass along. And he's also mashallah very tall, and he's lanky and stuff like that. So he has that reach, and he uses it to his advantage as he's moving through people and moving up and down the floor. So yeah, no, nothing but great things to say about him. And he's also like a very calm, like leader. Not to say that he doesn't get intense when need be,
oh yeah,
but he kind of has a calming presence to him for sure. And he it's on display because he has a lot of teammates who get very excited very easily. So he needs to be that calming presence to say, look, take it
yeah.
down a notch. We'll get it next time or whatever, right?
But he
So
he can get fired up too. I've seen him pretty
for
fiery on
sure,
the bench too. Yeah,
for sure, yeah. But I mean, not like still, he's kind of the voice of reason, though. I would say on his
yeah,
team
yeah.
often. Yeah,
True. I think maybe Daud, you can chime in here, but guys who tend to be good playmakers, and we can see this from this list, it's
Mhm.
usually guys who, one, they have great vision of what's going on, and then they can create space and time for themselves to actually use that vision, right?
Mhm.
They don't have their head down, they have their head up, they're making room, they're making space, letting the game unfold before they make the pass. And
Yeah,
that's, I think, the main common denominator with all these guys. What do you think, David? That would,
yeah. No, absolutely. I agree. I was actually just thinking, playing against Mandra, he knows exactly how to do that. He knows how to create space when a guy is very close to
hmm
him, and like you said, he knows how to draw the guy in close to him. So he burns you in multiple different ways when you're defending him. So he's very difficult to defend. He's very shifty when he plays.
yeah,
He makes some unorthodox passes, like I was kind of commenting on before, that you won't expect. It's hard
yeah,
to defend. So yeah, mashallah, very unique play style, especially for Mandra, but I'd say in general, like you were saying, with a lot of these guys that are playmakers, they have a very similar attributes to them.
yeah. And though I would put you right up there with these guys. I mean, even though you don't seem to have the statistical prowess this year, because maybe you don't have an old veteran grizzled guy on your line, Khan, but you're still doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed playing with on the same line as you last season. Though, I mean, it was great. You had the exact same thing where I would just open up, go to a spot, and you'd find me with the ball. So that's really fun to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
but I find that though, at least in my view, you've transitioned a bit from like a pure scorer to more of like a setup person when you need to be. Like I don't
Yeah.
know if that was intentional or maybe it's just something that I made up just now, but that's just my
No,
view that I've seen you over the last few seasons.
No, it was actually it was 100% intentional. I don't know if Arf remembers, but I was kind of talking to Arf about this a little last season.
Hmm.
Um, and I think I I adjusted this when I was playing in Iceland specifically. Maybe because I couldn't always rely on somebody else to set me up, you know?
Yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, I know I can be really good at this one thing, like finishing, but if there's nobody to set me up, there's nowhere to finish, and then how else
Hmm.
am I going to benefit the team, you know? So if I'm setting up everyone else, then at least I think that brings a lot more value. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the shift that I've made recently.
No, I think that's a
I'm
great
well on it.
observation. And you know what? Like, if even if you look at the NHL, right, you had a guy like Steve Eiserman back in the day, right? The guy was getting 150 points, right, in his prime, but he wasn't winning a lot of games with Detroit at the time.
Yeah.
But when he changed his approach and it became much more team, he used the rest of his team, became more defensive. That's when he started winning those cups, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
it's good that people like yourself you adapt to change. I think that's fantastic. Now speaking of guys who set you up and whatnot, the season before you played with this brother here, Mohamed Ali
Yeah.
Costantini, and you know that guy he won the scoring championship and you weren't too far behind. So and this is
Yeah.
one brother that you brought into the league, so tell me a little bit more about him.
Yeah. Yeah, Mo, I've known him for it was actually funny story for everybody who knows Naeem Malik. He brought me into my first ever team in ball hockey outside of Iceland, like first organized rink hockey outside of Iceland, and Mo was the guy that I was playing with on that team. So, mashallah, I've known him for a few years now, and I'll, yeah, nothing but good to say about him on and off the floor, right? Um, yeah, he has that great IQ and everything. He has an amazing shot, and he's like one of the hardest workers, despite, his age is a mystery to me. I still don't know his age to this day, even though I've known him for a few years now. But yeah, mashallah, he's nothing but good to say about him.
I even if we knew his age, I don't think it matters because mashallah, the brother is one of the fittest guys I've
He
seen. Man,
is.
Yeah, yeah.
he runs marathons. He does like those Spartan things. I saw some of his pictures of doing those things and I got tired just looking at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this year I'm finding it, and Imad as well. I'm sure we see it where he likes to have control of the ball, and then he finds
Mhm.
you. He just tells me to go to the corner of the net, and somehow it gets through all these sticks and legs and straight onto the stick. So yeah,
Yeah.
great brother to have, and really wonderful to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, and we have another guy here from one scoring champion leader to another scoring leader from a few years ago, Hamza Chaudhry here. So,
Yeah.
and I believe this gentleman here, he holds the record for most points since we moved to the hangar. So that's also
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Yeah, high 20s, I think, right? In a 10-game season.
26 or 27, yeah,
26. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
26. I was bugging Muhib about it last season. I was like, I don't know if you're gonna catch him, and yeah, he didn't. I think he was like 2 points or 1 point shy of catching him. So
Yeah, Mohib
yeah.
messaged me. He's like, "Oh, brother, just out of curiosity, what's the highest point?" I'm like, "Sure." That's cool. I like the competitiveness, and I like the fact that guys are trying to beat these records. Records are made to
Mhm.
be broken, but I think if anyone can beat this record, it's actually him. I
Yeah.
would say he's one of the top three players in our league right now. Mashallah, he's just the pedigree, the hockey pedigree from his family, man. Plus, just
Mhm.
his abilities are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very skilled. And to think also that sometimes he's playing D, dropping back because we talked about Takwa earlier.
Hmm.
And that speaks to probably why he only has 5 assists. And I will say only because it is Hamza. But also on Takwa, he's tied with Omar Hussein, who also has
Yeah,
5 assists. And between the both of them, I mean, they're both very big guys in terms of height. Uh, Omar has, of course, he's bulkier and he can use his body against you,
yeah,
especially defending and to power through into lanes. Um, and you don't want him yelling at you because he yells at everyone. Um, but both guys, really really great guys. And both have come from families who have very talented players, right? Omar has his brothers, who Reyes and so his other brother, younger brother. I'm gonna hate myself for missing his name. I know his face, but I forget it. But mashallah, he's also gotten super fit too.
Oh, Zahid.
That's it. Zahid. Yeah, he was on your team, wasn't he? Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, they're all great players, and can't say anything but good things about them. Very intense. Very intense.
His younger brother. That's a crazy picture. Well, then let us take better pictures of you guys. Yeah. So both of them are tied. All right. So now we have here from the super team. We have Yusuf Memon here. Now I gotta say, Yusuf has 9 assists. He's leading the league in assists. Some of the other brothers we showed, they made the list because they're top in their team, but they have like 5, 6. Yakin has guys who have 9, 8, and 7. Right, so they just pass amongst each other and they just all get the assists.
Yeah, even the guy who scores a goal gets an assist. I'm kidding.
Yeah, probably the very next play.
Yusuf, I mean, we've talked about the guys, right? And I think Yusuf is maybe one of those guys who is the calming presence on that top line with Abrar and Hamza. And really, I think maybe he's kind of the glue between those guys, is to really set them up, make sure they get in the right position to be able to score. And the thing with like you said, Arif, is they pass so much amongst themselves that it's so difficult to defend. Is if you're not in the right position and on your man and you're just chasing the ball, you're literally giving them a goal. So it's extremely important to be able to play man-to-man, defend against the body versus the ball to be successful against these guys. And to date, this season, no one really has been able to do that.
Yeah. I was fortunate to play with these guys a year ago, like a calendar year ago, where when they played and we were part of Team Subber, and I got to play with Gibby here several times throughout the season. And yeah, mashallah, the guy, he can pass, man. Like, he's got amazing hands, but like we said, just such great vision. I'm not even part of their core there, and even then they were adjusting to my style, and I got so many goals and points that year, mashallah, and all I did was just stand in one spot and these guys just found me. So it's fun to play. And I think one other anecdote, though, that year, remember we were playing pickup hockey before the season started, and it was like sort of tryouts to see who's what.
Yeah.
And Daoud was playing with them, and they're like, "Hey, this guy's pretty good." And you guys were clicking. They came to you and said, "Bro, what's your name? Where do you normally get drafted?"
Yeah, I remember that very well. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to tell him, sorry, Daoud, he's one of the GMs, you can't take him. But again, you played really well with that style.
Yeah, I love playing with them. The first thing that comes to mind when I think of these T Park guys, because a lot of their passing plays and stuff is like kind of gym hockey. It's like I feel like, I don't know if they play a lot of gym hockey. I would assume so, but that's like a lot of the fundamentals of gym hockey is like you kind of have no choice because it's so close quarters. There's no such thing as just ball carrying all the time, right? So yeah, mashallah, these guys, their play style, I can't say enough good about it. And it's, like I said, very hard to defend, like you guys commented on as well. And especially Yusuf, I noticed playing against him, he finds a lot of holes that most guys would not find, when you're making a pass. And he kind of catches you off guard sometimes. Maybe you're facing him and everything, but your eyesight just goes away for a second, and he takes advantage of that, right? So
another reason these guys have been doing really well, and of course get a lot of assists, is they also have set plays. When they're killing a penalty, they have. I remember that they had a few set plays where at the end of the penalty, they'll make this Hail Mary pass, and somebody will, usually it's Hamza or Gibby, they will get the ball deep and they'll get a scoring chance, right? So they have a lot of set plays. So not only do they have chemistry, but now you can build set plays, and it's even more difficult to defend against them.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. And I think that was it for our leaders. Imad, and I think this is what Abu Manjra again as the player of the week.
Yeah, so Abu Manjra is the Stone Valley Countertops player of the week for week 5. goal, 2 assists, leading his team to victory, and understanding that his team was actually short, unlike Isan, and they still came out with a W. He's a key component of that. Congratulations to Abu, and he'll get his gift card from Habibi next or tomorrow night, I guess. And also a big thank you to Stone Valley. So if you're looking for any countertops, they're your guys to reach out to.
Yeah. So what, Emad, you're saying that real GMs, they score when their team needs them?
I don't know. That would draft me off it, so I got to be careful with what I say.
Yeah. I mean, he always had very complimentary things to say about you. I don't know why you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Well, it's been a few seasons since he drafted me, so.
Yeah. All right. A little break from some of these fun festivities we're having. As many of you know, there's some places in the world where they're not as lucky as we are to be playing recreational games and enjoying some good times with our brothers. Some places are having a much more difficult time, and I'm talking about Turkey and Syria. So as Iceland, we normally do is we try to support a lot of these initiatives and charitable organizations, and this is no different. So Emad, why don't you give us some more information about this?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen on the news and heard on the radio and seen literally everywhere about the devastation that's taken place in Turkey and Syria specifically, but then also it's spread out to other places in the region from the earthquake. I believe it's on Monday. You can read on here. It says 13.5 million have been affected by the earthquake in one way or another. Debt toll right now is close to 20,000, and it's expected to rise significantly. So, unfortunately, our hearts go out to them, and it's a very unfortunate situation for everyone involved. And there's so many people who are out there trying to help, and the weather conditions aren't helping in terms of precipitation and the temperatures. So, they need all the help they can get. You probably noticed that we have Human Concern International on our jerseys this season, and we're partnering with them to help raise some funds to support this cause specifically. So we ask that, we will be posting a link on our Instagram and other channels so that you can go directly there and donate if you're able to. The funds go to worthy cause to help these people truly in need. And we'll also have HCI at the rink tomorrow to be able to help you answer any questions you may have about where the funds are going or what they're being used for. And then also to collect donations if you're willing to, if you'd like to donate. So, keep this in mind. If you're able to, it's great, and you'll be helping someone. And we'll share updates as we move through this process. And just at the same time, please pray for everyone there, and that they find some safety and stability over the next coming days, weeks, and months. It's going to be an incredible recovery, a long one for them, and we just hope that everyone's okay.
Yeah, well said. And every bit helps. Don't never think that even if it's like $5, $2, whatever it is.
Anything.
Yeah, because by the time it gets there, it's a lot more. So every bit helps, inshallah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we got a couple of slides here left. Let's do really quick. I know we're already at 43 minutes here, but let's do a very, very quick preview of some of the games that are going to happen. These are the games at a high level. Ihsan Iman, Ikhlas Rida, Sabr Yaqeen, then Hayan Taqwa. We'll just buzz right through them quickly. First game, Dawood, you're going to be facing Iman. What's your thoughts? What's your game plan here?
One thing I know, despite their record, I'm not going to underestimate them. I know a lot of the guys on the team, like I play with them outside of Islam, and like I said, not to be underestimated. They have guys like Bilal Mohideen, his brother, Abdul Nafia, Ahmed, Adam Ahmed, sorry, Junaid, right? So they have all the tools to get things done, and I think especially from last week that they tied with Ikhlas, that's a huge statement for them. And I'm definitely not going into this like with my guard down at all, right? These guys have to be.
Yeah. And if
Yeah.
you see, they actually have more goals for than you guys. It's just that their defense
Yeah.
has struggled a little bit with 23.
Yeah.
But if they can get that in order, especially now with Asim Sheikh, I think they're going to be a handful.
I don't know. I hear there are going to be key guys missing on both teams. So, well, I don't know if that was willing to divulge, but I know that Asim Sheikh is missing on Iman because he's doing Umrah now, I believe.
Oh,
And
okay.
then
Oh.
Dawood, I guess I should be fair and say that Ali Khwaja is going to be missing because unfortunately his brother's quite ill. So
Okay.
let's pray for a quick recovery there.
Second game of the night will be the Leafs versus the Canucks. I'm sorry, Ikhlas versus Rida. And here the records are pretty similar. Points are similar. It's very evenly matched. Goals for, goals against. This should be an interesting one. Again, if your key players show up, I think I don't know. I think Ikhlas might have a slight edge, but I'm reluctant to say.
Yeah, you know what? I think I would tend to agree with you. I think they're a more well-rounded team, specifically on the defensive end, which will probably help them come out on top here. But you never count out Rida with Abu Madra, Yusuf, Inger, and Kazi among everyone else. Those guys are so dynamic that they can just blow a game wide open, regardless of who they're playing against.
Yeah. Yeah, this will be a good game. Probably gonna stick around to watch it. I'm very excited.
Well, your game is the first one. No, yours.
The
yours is
first
the
game.
first
His
one, right?
first one, yeah. So you'll see
Yeah.
the second half of the
So
game.
Dawood, if he has an early game, he'll stick around all the way till the end. He just doesn't
Yeah.
show up to the early games. I don't blame you, bro. It's cold out there. I'd rather stay home.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of staying home, I think half our Subber team is staying home tomorrow.
Oh my god! Of all the games.
Of those who are going to come back. Now, I don't know if Yakin has scared the pants off of some of these guys that they're not showing up or they have other stuff to do. Well, we have a lot of people missing tomorrow. Hey, you already sounded off in the chat. You said you're coming, so you can't just bail now. All right, so we're facing the juggernaut here. Yeah, this will be fun. At least the good thing is I get to shoot on Maju, but he always saves, so I don't know.
You know what? Either way, it's going to be a big test. We'll see how we, whether we can build on last week or not, even with the guys missing. So show up, you do your best, and see what comes out of it. That's all you can do.
Yeah, a message to Hamza and Gibi, guys, if you're watching this, just stay home. Like 1 week, it's not going to kill you, man. Let your other lines play. We can play against your team B here, no problem.
They scored 3 times as many goals as us.
Oh man. Anyways, okay. Last game of the night will be inshallah Haya versus Taqwa. Again, similar record, similar points. Yeah, I think I don't know about Haya, man. Like on paper, they're always really good. Some games they look outstanding. Other games they look like they don't want to be there. I don't know what's going on.
It's going to be a high-scoring game, and I think Taqwa is going to score a lot of goals. I think so. I mean, neither team has played in strong defense, and this is going to be wide open. I'm saying this is going to be like a 6-5 or 7-6 game.
Okay. What do you think, Dawood?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't count Haya out. Definitely, these guys the one thing I always say this about specifically like Luke and Akib's their teams, they bring out like a different energy from their teams, from all their guys. They know how to dig out and especially like they got the whole family on the team, and yeah, they just have all the pieces. It's just not clicking just right now, but it's coming. I don't know when it's coming, but it's coming sometime, I'm still not gonna forget last year winter season when they broke our hearts in the shootout. So, they just pulled something out. I remember we won the first game, the second game they won. So then it went to overtime, all that anyway. So he's somehow
with you there, man.
I know.
So let me put out a little controversy here. I'm just inviting hate from all the Maliks by saying this right now, but they have so much energy. It's almost like tree bark and tinder and stuff. where you set it on fire, it burns really quickly. There's a lot of energy, but then there's nothing. You need to put a log in there so that the flames actually get hot. So is this the case with Hayat? They just have so many hype men in there that it's all hype and no real stake.
Oh, what are you talking about? They got so many logs, man. You got Hamoudi, you got Suf, you got Arabika, you got Luke, you got Akib. I mean, there's tons of them. Riz. I mean, how can you call Riz just Tinder? Come on. That guy's like a flamethrower.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. But the record doesn't show that.
Hey, that's another story.
Zoo got worried when I mentioned Tinder. That's the problem. I mean, Zoo, I don't expect that from you. You're old enough to know the word Tinder before what it is now, right?
I'm surprised he even knows Tinder and the other aspect of it. I mean,
all right. Now we're progressing into podcast after dark. We're not going to do that. Before you leave, Taher usually has interesting comments. What did he say? 13 goals against in 5 games from Taqwa. Not sure why our D is under attack. Nothing to brag about like Yakin, but still less than 3. Is that because you're playing defense, Taher? Or you're trying to play defense?
let us play. Let his teams play. Do the talking tomorrow night. How about we do that?
All right. I think I've attracted enough hate and fire. So maybe tomorrow I'll skip 2. I think I'm coming up with a cough as well.
So, before we sign off, just a reminder that tomorrow is the final game before we have a break next week for the Family Day long weekend. I wish it was Canada Day. It'd be nice and hot outside. So yeah, this is the last game, and then we're not gonna play for another 2 weeks. So there's no podcast next week. So you know what, guys, stay active. We want to avoid injuries when we get back. I know it's only a week off, but it's a 2-week break in between games. So stay active, be ready to come back, and inshallah we'll talk again in 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. So it should be a fun. So enjoy this week's inshallah games. It's going to be a while before you play again. Daud, once again, Mr. Siyombor. Thanks for joining, bro, and thanks for taking our advice and getting yourself a real mic. Much appreciated. Because Daud always has really, really poignant things to say, but if you can't hear him, then what's the point?
Yeah, great to have you on, man.
Thanks. Always a pleasure to be on.
Awesome.
Sound more excited, why don't you?
It's getting late. You don't understand it.
I know.
He's not the hype man on his team.
That's why I need Riz, man. Riz is my hype man.
There's one. I think you need to go play for Red again.
We'll get him on the podcast with you next time.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, boys. We'll see you tomorrow, inshallah.
All right. Salam.